Welcome back to Cheyenne's Good Fortune. We have another pick a card reading for your week ahead. And we have 6 piles here. So remember, this is a general reading. Take what resonates and leave the rest behind. Okay? We have pile 1, which is the, let's say, neon green. Pile 2, orange. Pile 3, red. Pile 4, purple. Pile 5 is the light pink. Pile 6 is the yellow. So what you're going to do to pick the correct pile for yourself is close your eyes, take a deep breath, open your eyes, and scan all 6 colors. And whichever color you seem to keep being drawn to, I believe is the correct pile for you. Also, you're welcome to choose more than one pile. Don't force yourself to choose more than one pile. If you're drawn to more than one pile, please do so. Okay, you can pick more than one. And this is just going to go over, once again, what's going on with you next week as far as what should be on your mind or what might be on your mind. Also, what you need to do and the challenge for you next week. Okay, so let's start with pile 1. Okay, pile 1, the neon green. What's going on with you, pile 1, for next week? So, once again, general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. If it doesn't resonate, please pick another pile. So next week, as far as what might be on your mind or what you should be thinking about, we have peace. It says there is no need to worry, as everything is working out beautifully. That's a great card. As far as what you need to do next week, you have the Knight of Fire. And this says, a sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. All right? And then we have the 7 of Swords, which is going to be your challenge. All right. Let me get a sip of water. Okay, pile number 1. So as far as what might be on your mind next week or what you should be thinking about, with the peace card, what I'm getting is that either it's going to start next week or you already feel this way and it's going to continue next week. As far as you might have been worried about some things. And this card is saying you do not have to worry about anything. Everything will work out great. Okay, once again, I'm getting that either next week, follow me here, either next week or either next week you're going to start feeling like, I'm worried about some things, I'm stressed out, or you've been feeling that way for a while, and those feelings are going to continue through next week. And Spirit is basically saying that you need to have peace because everything's going to work out fine. Please don't worry. Okay? Everything's working out the way it's supposed to be, even though it might not be going as great as you would like it to be. Spirit just wants you to know that worrying is not going to make it any better, and that try to bring as much peace in your life as you can next week. As far as what you need to do, now this says a sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. The Knight of Fire. So what I'm getting is that there's going to be something next week that you really need to do, and it needs to be done as quick as possible next week. It could be a deadline for something at work, it could be some paperwork you need to turn in, it could be anything, but something needs to be done. But this is saying, though, it's cautioning you that although this thing needs to be done next week or starting next week, but it needs to get executed as soon as possible, and next week is either it needs to be done by next week, because this is for your week ahead. So either this particular thing needs to be done next week, or you need to be in the process of figuring out next week how quickly you can get it done. Okay, but this is saying that you need to think it through carefully. So it's something that needs to be done next week. That time is slipping. It needs to be done, but you can't. I know it's weird to say something has to be done immediately, but you can't rush through it. So let me work this better. It needs to be done as quick as possible, but how you get it done needs to be considered. Okay, so I'm trying to think of an example of something that needs to be done right away, but you just can't. You just can't do it. You have to think it through. It can't be a sloppy job, put it like that. Okay, so something needs to be done next week. It needs to get done immediately, but you have to be careful and to get it. You got to think things through carefully though, which is, I know it's almost like saying something, you have to be accurate and fast at the same time. Which is like, how am I supposed to do that? But that's basically what that's saying. And with the 7 of Swords, and this is in the challenge position. I get this a lot in the challenge position for some reason, but that card comes up a lot. So that means there's a lot of sneaky, backhanded things that's going on in this world, because the 7 of Swords deals with one or two things. Either it's saying that you are being sneaky or backhanded. This deals with someone being a thief. Also, this is talking about some people being sneaky behind your back, rumors. And I actually got this card not too long ago when I asked some questions about a couple friends and found out they were saying things behind my back. So this card deals with rumors and gossip going on behind your back, underhanded behavior behind your back. It also can deal with someone stealing. It can also deal with you being underhanded and sneaky. You see how he's getting away with the swords, and it deals with, stealing, theft. What I'm getting is that, and like I said, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. I'm getting that this particular thing that needs to be done so urgently next week, that this is what I'm getting, because I read the cards, but I also use my intuition. I'm getting that this is just saying for you not to cut corners as far as getting this done, because I just keep coming back. Something needs to be done, but it has to be done accurately, and they want you to think it through, but it needs to hurry and be done, which is that's hard. So I'm getting this is saying something needs to be done, but it needs to be done right, but to not cut corners. That's just what I'm getting. To do it and not cut corners, else it won't turn out good for you in the end. But it's saying to not cut any corners. And that's saying that's your challenge. So the challenge is to not cut corners. The challenge is going to be to not do something sneaky, but I'm not getting a sneaky vibe. I'm getting that this also deals with just trying to get over, okay? I feel this is saying that the challenge for you is going to be to try to get this done, think it through, but to get it done and to not cut corners, okay? All right, pile number 1. So if you enjoyed the reading, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video. And like I said, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. And I will see you next week. Okay, for people who picked pile number 2, what's going on with you next week, pile number 2, as far as what you should be thinking about? So let's start with what should be on your mind, or what might be on your mind next week. We have bold. It says, unleash your adventurous side, take risks and be daring. Now, what you should do next week, it says 2 of water. A relationship that continues to grow closer, forgiveness, the positive resolution of a conflict. And then the third position, which is your challenge, the magician. So let me get a sip of water, pile number 2. What I'm getting is that, because in the first position, this is about what might be on your mind or what should be on your mind next week. It can go either way. I'm just getting that you might be thinking about being bold or taking a risk. That might be on your mind. Because it says, unleash your adventurous side, take risks and be daring. So if it just means that you've been doing, maybe some things are not going quite the way you want to. And next week is saying that you're going to start coming up with ideas to change that. Because a lot of times when this card is asking for you to be bold, take risks, and be daring. So either this is just this is saying that you should be bold, take risks, and be daring, but it also can be saying that's going to be on your mind, because maybe some things are not going the way you want them to, and you think it's time for a change, or you need to shake some things up, what I'm getting, in order to get the result that you want. In the second position, what you need to do, 2 of water. Now this deals with relationships, and mostly romantic relationships, but what I'm getting as far as this is saying that you need to be positive about a situation. Now I'm getting a romantic situation, but it could deal with friendship too, or deal with people in your family. But now take what resonates. It can deal with friendship, it can deal with family, but usually the 2 of water, because this represents, this is not a tarot. This is a cross between oracle and tarot, but the 2 of water and tarot represents the 2 of cups. But And Two of Cups just means a happy union between two people. So this is a very positive card, but this is saying that this person needs to forgive. So maybe there's someone that you're dating or someone in your family or a friend, they're saying next week you need to forgive them, or you need to think positive about the situation. You need to look at it from a different perspective. And it's saying if there's any conflict that comes along, try to resolve it in a positive way. So this card is all about happiness in a relationship. Basically, you giving love, you being understanding, you being forgiving, and resolving conflict in a positive way. So like I said, if you're in a relationship, this will possibly be dealing with your relationship. If you're not in one, this is saying it could deal with friends or family members. And they're just telling you to think positive about the situation and don't think negatively. Come from a place of forgiveness and understanding. So in the last position, the challenge, the magician. Magician deals with you having everything you need to manifest what you want. If you look at the magician card, you probably can't see here, it has the cup, the pentacle, the sword, and the wand. It's saying you have everything, the mental, the communication, the intellect, the beauty, the mind and intellect is the same thing. You get what I'm saying. The pinnacle, you have the pinnacles, you have you just have everything you need to make the soup. You have everything in the pot to make the soup. You have everything you need. So you may say, what's the challenge? The challenge is that I'm getting, like I said, it's a general reading. Take a resonance, leave the rest behind. What I'm getting is that someone that's watching this, you have everything you need, but you feel you still cannot manifest what you want. And that's the challenge. You feel you're not manifesting what you want. And that's why I need to jump back to the first position of being bold. This is saying that you want to take, next week you're going to be thinking about taking risks and seeing things from a different perspective. And I think it's related to you're not getting, things aren't going the way you want them to. So you're thinking, let me think of a different way to bring about the result I want. Let me take some risks. So for example, if you've always done the same thing over and over again, let's say you apply for the same type of jobs, you go after the same type of people in relationships, and you're not getting the results you want, you might say, you know, I want to take a risk, I want to do something different, I'm going to be bold and just go after a different type of person or go after a different type of job. That would be taking a risk. That would be being bold. And that you could feel that way because you weren't getting the results you want. And this is saying, I'm getting the challenges that you don't feel you're getting the results that you want. You feel that, look, I have everything I need to get this particular thing, but it's not coming to me. Why am I not manifesting what I want? So I believe that's why next week what's going to be in your mind is that I need to take some risks. I need to be bold. And this is saying, it's confirming, I need to be bold. I need to take risks. Okay? I need to take risks. Change some things up. And this is saying the challenge next week is going to be to manifest what you want, because it might not come to you next week. Something you're trying to manifest, it might not, I'm not getting it's going to come next week. I feel the challenge is going to be to manifest this. And I feel you've been trying to manifest whatever this is for a while. And that's why next week you're going to be thinking about, I need to change some things up. I need to be more daring. And this can also say Spirit wants you to be more daring, take more risks next week so that you can bring about the result that you want, because you might be having some challenges manifesting what you want. Okay, pile number 2. So if you enjoyed this reading, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video, and I will see you next time. Okay, for the people who picked pile number 3, the red. What's going on with you next week, pile number 3? Now, in the first position, past life. This situation involves your past life memories. In the second position, 3 of earth, the power of creativity. Recognition for very high quality work, be a team player. Now this represents what you need to do next week. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 10 of Wands. Okay, this is the challenge for next week. So let me take a drink of water. Now what I'm getting is that, this is a general reading. Take a resonance, leave the rest behind. If it doesn't resonate, you can pick another pile. What I'm getting for you, pile number 3, as far as next week. So what could be in your mind? It's the pile I picked for myself, actually. Now this, I rarely get this card ever. This deals with past life memories. It could be, this could literally deal with, because it says this situation involves your past life memories. This can deal with you thinking about reincarnation, having past life regression. So for one set of people, you could literally next week be thinking about that kind of stuff. You could be thinking about past lives you have lived in different physical bodies. You could be thinking about, I need to have a past life regression. This also deals with childhood issues. But what I'm mainly getting is that I'm mainly getting that next week you just might be thinking about things of the past. You could be thinking about next week a past lover, parents that might have passed, other loved ones that have passed. You could be thinking about past friends, people who you could just be thinking about. You could be thinking about people that are no longer in your life next week. You could be thinking about jobs you've had, just something dealing with the past. And I just think it's going to be in your mind next week. Okay. Now, as far as what you need to do, now Three of Pentacles deals with being skilled at something. This says Three of Earth, but it represents Three of Pentacles in tarot. Three of Earth deals with being skilled, being recognized for a job well done, being skilled at something. So what I'm getting is that next week you need to practice your craft. So I'm getting a couple of things. If you are starting your own business, you're an entrepreneur, it's saying you got a lot of work to do next week. If you work, because I'm getting, it's one part of this where I'm getting people who once again want to start their own business, or people who kind of creative is saying you really need to work on your craft next week. And the other set of people who are at their 9-to-5 job is saying you just need to work really hard next week. I'm just getting next week you need to work really hard next week. It's not a lazy week for you. It's not a slow week for you. Next week is going to be a busy week for you. So for people who are trying to start like a new project or something, a new job or new business, saying next week you need to put a lot of effort into this particular thing. Next week it's a lot of stuff going to be going on, and it needs a lot of your attention. Okay. It's asking you to be creative next week, and to just to work hard. So whatever that can mean, just working hard at your job. It can mean also working hard as far as a skill that you're trying to master. Whether you're an artist or creative person, whatever thing that you're trying to do to bring in money, that's what I'm getting. You need to work hard at it next week. And once again, I just want to get back to, if you're a creative person, it's saying really work on your creativity next week. Now in the position, what you need to do, the 10 of Wands, it's just saying that, in the position of the challenge next week, the 10 of Wands, the challenges you see is going to be burden. Having a lot of things to do. Each of these wands to me represent things you need to do. You're just gonna have a lot of responsibility, a lot of things that need to be done next week. And as you see, this guy is trying to hold all these wands by himself. So you're just gonna have a lot of things that need to be done next week. And that's why this is in this position of what you need to do. This card represents working hard, being creative, being recognized for a job well done. This is about working, getting things done. And usually it's directed to things that bring in money, or things that bring in money. Usually this is directly related to a skill set that brings in money. So you need to really work on your craft next week, really work hard, whether that's at work or that's also dealing with a hobby or something that you want to bring in money. You need to really put a lot of effort into that next week. And it's saying the challenge for you next week is going to be just to try to get everything done by yourself. You just have a lot on your plate, and you may feel overwhelmed next week. And it's just saying it might be a challenge for you just to get everything done, but you will get it done. Okay, pile number 3. If you enjoyed that reading, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video, and I will see you next time. For people who picked pile number 4 is the purple. What's going on with you next week, pile number 4? Now, what might be on your mind next week, or what you should be thinking about, possibly? High Priestess. You have divine knowledge that can help others through your spiritual teachings. And then in the second position, what you need to do, we have ego. It says a false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. I was gonna say fear-based thinking, but no. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 of Swords, all right, is the position of the challenge. So pile number 4, okay. This does not resonate. Please pick another pile, because I'm getting something very specific. I feel next week, I just started from the beginning, okay? So what might be on your mind, or what you should be thinking about? High Priestess, the first thing, think about spirituality, and also think about religion with this card. So next week you could be thinking about your spirituality, you might decide to go to church next week, and you may have not been in a while, Or because of this virus going around, you might do online church. I don't know. But if you're religious, you might think about getting back. If you have kind of slacked off, next week you could be possibly thinking about getting back into the church, or if you're just spiritual like I am, getting back to spirituality, maybe meditating or praying, or however you connect to what you believe in. That's what I'm mainly getting. That's going to be mainly on your mind. That is what could possibly be on your mind next week. But then also the second part is this, because this card deals with a spiritual teacher, someone teaching, writing about spiritual things. So you could possibly be thinking about how you want to be a spiritual teacher next week. You could be thinking about teaching or writing or teaching about spirituality, or joining workshops dealing with spirituality next week. And that's for a small population. But for another group of people, a larger group of people, I feel it's just saying that you're going to be thinking about spiritual matters, next week. And we're going to get into why I think that is. So in the second position, ego, what you need to do. Now, this is saying a false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. So what I'm getting is that this is telling you not to have those thoughts. This is saying that that next week you may have, because I'm getting that either you could possibly have these feelings next week, but I'm also getting that either these feelings could start next week, or you've been having these feelings for a while and they're going to continue next week. And these feelings of negative thoughts, fear-based thoughts, feel like you're trapped in your situation. I just feel someone doesn't feel happy in their life right now. They don't feel happy about a particular situation. It could be dealing with love, finance, family, self-worth. It could be dealing with a lot of different things, and someone just feels trapped. It could be dealing with children. It could be anything. Like I said, money, finance, whatever it is, this is saying that you have been possibly trapped in your ego, not seeing things for what they are, having a negative or fear-based thoughts. And they want you to know that you're not trapped. And they're trying to tell you you're going through a lot of mental distress. Like I said, it could start next week, the mental distress, or you've been feeling this way for a while and it's going to continue next week. And this is saying to get yourself out of this mental agony because when you have fear-based thoughts, it's mental agony because you're driving yourself crazy. You're looking at the negative thing, the negative part of things. You're thinking about the worstest scenarios. Like it drives you crazy, stresses you out, and then you feel trapped in your situation. You feel no way out. So this is saying, in order to get out of that, you need to think positive next week. And I know people say, "Oh, how can you think positive in a negative situation?" It is difficult. The best thing I can say is that know that it's a temporary situation, and that if you notice, the more you indulge in those negative thoughts, it doesn't get better. Have you noticed that? It just gets worse. Okay? So I think try to find something to be happy about will help. Try to find something to focus on that could, even if it's that particular day you have your favorite food to eat, or you go to the park and just do something fun for yourself, but just have one thing to look forward to each day and kind of hone in on that. But this is telling you, what you need to do is to think positive to help get you out of this negative thinking, this fear-based thinking, this feeling of being entrapped, this mental misery that you may be feeling next week or have been feeling for a while. And the challenge, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. With the 9 of Swords, you see she's in her bed with her head in her hands. She's under mental distress, and these two cards go hand in hand. It's saying that the challenge is for you to not be in mental distress. That's why they're saying for you so that the challenge is going to be for you. Let me go back. The challenge is going to be for you to not indulge and to not be under mental distress, because you possibly could be under it next week. So that's going to be a challenge for you to fight those feelings of being mentally stressed out. Does that make sense? So you're going to have it's like a battle. And Spirit is saying in order for you to win, you can win this if you don't indulge those thoughts. If you don't give into those, it's a false perception. It's a false sense of entrapment. Because the more you think those negative thoughts, you feel there's no way out. You like, our minds, you feel there's no way out. And Spirit is saying in order for you to not end up like this, okay, to not end up like that, you have to think positive. Have something to look forward to. Okay? Focus on one thing that's positive each day. And so the challenge for you next week may be could possibly be to not indulge in those negative thoughts and you might be battling mental stress next week. It might be a battle for you. It's going to be a challenge to get yourself out of it. Okay, but this is saying to get yourself out of it. Focus on something good in your life, okay? Okay, pile number 4. If you enjoyed this reading, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video, and I will see you next time. For people who pick pile number 5 is the light pink. What's going on with you next week, pile number 5? We have bodies of water. Spend time near water, such as a lake, river, or the ocean to recharge your batteries. That's in the first position of what you need to do possibly next week or what might be on your mind. In the position of, oh no, yeah, no, I said that wrong. This is in the position of what might be on your mind, not necessarily what you need to do. This is in the position of what might be on your mind and possibly what you should be thinking about. I want to say that correctly. In the second position of what you need to do, this is what you need to do. The 8 of water. And this says a desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual, and emotional growth. And the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5 of wands is in the position of the challenge for you next week. So let me get a sip of water. So pile number 5, once again, this is a general reading. Take what resonates and leave the rest behind. If it doesn't resonate, please pick another pile. Okay? So what might be on your mind next week, or what you should be thinking about next week? So what I'm getting is that for someone, definitely you've been stressed out. That's just what I get right away. Once again, you could be this stressful, I'm not saying that right. This stressful feeling, I need to project my voice, could start next week. Or you've been feeling this way for a while and it's going to continue next week, if that makes sense, okay? And because you will be feeling stressed, I feel what might be on your mind next week is that you just need to recharge your batteries. This is about going to a water lake to recharge your batteries. This is a relaxation card. That's what I'm getting. You might be thinking about next week taking some salt baths, going to the park, relaxing, listening to some soothing music. Whatever it is, I just feel that someone's been feeling stressed. They're going to be feeling stressed next week, but this stress you could have been feeling this for a while. But it may just start next week, and it's saying next week, what's going to be in your mind is that, oh my God, I need to recharge my batteries. I need some relaxation. I need to get away from some things. Okay? Now, in the position, what you need to do. Now, this says, once again, they desire to move on, search for something more meaningful, spiritual, emotional growth. I'm getting that they're saying you need to move on from something. Something that's no longer serving you emotionally or spiritually. It could be a person, a situation, a place, but something's not going right, and something is saying you need to move away from it. Next week, you need to either literally move away from it and get away from it next week, or you need to be in the process of releasing it out of your life next week. And then with the position of 5 of wands, which I find interesting, the challenge for you next week is to not get into conflict. The challenge for you next week is to not get into a battle, to not to compete, not to get into a confrontation. And I feel it's kind of related to this 8 of water, moving away from something. So it could be, like, for example, it could be someone in your life that you're not getting along with. Family member, partner, it could be a coworker, it could be anybody. I'm just using this as an example. And this person is just causing problems in your life, and this is saying you need to move away from this person because it's going to be a big challenge to not get into it with them. This is exactly what I'm getting. And it's interesting, last week, the pal that I ended up picking, I think the week before, after the week was over, I went back to see how accurate it was. And the pal I just picked the pal to see, did it reflect what happened that week? And it did. And I did end up getting into it with a friend, or feeling like I wanted to get into it with a friend and ending a friendship. And it told me that I was going to have a challenge that week. The challenge for me that week was to not get into it with somebody. And that particular friend I did really want to get into altercation with them. I really wanted to. And it took a lot for me to say, I'm going to deal with this in a different way. So this is just saying, this is what I'm getting. The challenge is going to be to not do this, okay? It's not telling you to do this. This is telling you to walk away from it. To remove something from your life that is no longer serving you. Okay, this is saying, and this is about, a desire to move on, the search for something meaningful. But what I'm getting is that, it's something you need to move away from, because you need something better in your life. And like I said, it could be a person. This could be a job that's stressing you out. This could be anything. It could be the apartment you stay in. I'm not saying it's a person. I'm just saying it could be a person, okay, that you need to walk away from or next week or begin the process of. It could be a job. It could be anything. Whatever this thing is saying you need to move on from it, and that the conflict next week for you is to not get into it, not to get into any battles with anybody, not to get into any conflict. Okay, so what's going to be in your mind, and also what I think you need to do next week is saying to move forward, obviously, and this is saying your mind is also going to be on trying to relax and recharge your batteries. Okay, pound number 5, please hang in there. All right, remove anything out of your life that is no longer serving you next week. Okay, or begin the process of it. Okay, if you enjoyed this reading, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video, and I will see you next time. Pile number 6, the yellow. What's going on with you, pile number 6, as far as next week? So this is a general reading. Take what resonates and leave the rest behind. If it doesn't resonate, please pick another pile. In your first position, as far as what should be in your mind or what might be in your mind, we have start delegating, green, Sarah. Ask others, including me, to help you instead of trying to do everything by yourself. Okay. In the second position of what you need to do, 7 of fire. You can see that. It says defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground. Choose your battles wisely. Okay, they telling you directly what to do. And the position of the challenge, you have the moon card. That's the deception card. Okay. So, pile number 6, as far as what you may be thinking about next week or what you should be thinking about. So next week you could possibly be thinking about, oh, I got so much stuff I need to do and I don't need any help. No, let me take that back. You may be thinking about, I said that wrong, that I have so much stuff that I need to do and I need help. This is also saying that you should possibly be thinking about delegating. Because it says ask others for help, including me, instead of trying to do everything by yourself. Maybe you are the type of person that like to do a lot of things by yourself, or maybe you feel you don't have any help. Maybe you feel that nobody wants to help you, or maybe you don't feel there's no one you can turn to, or maybe, like I said, you're the type of person you like to do things on your own, or maybe you're the kind of person you just feel like these particular things you can't get help with it, or you feel you the best, because some things we do, we feel, okay, this is what I have to do and I'm not supposed to get help with this. However it is, either next week you're going to be thinking about asking people for help because you're like, I can't, this is too much. And this is also saying, this is saying you need to be thinking about it. If you have not, it's saying you need to think about, okay, I need to start delegating. I got too much stuff I have to do on my own and I need help. Okay? And this is kind of confirmed to me in the second position, defend, which is what you need to do. This is telling you to stand your ground, defend your decisions and your beliefs, choose your battles wisely. What I'm getting, because I read the cards but also use my intuition, I'm getting that you need to say no next week. So with this star delegating, I'm just getting that it's a lot of stuff that you have to do next week, and maybe you are the type, once again, you just say screw it, I'm gonna do it all on my own. Or people are putting a lot of stuff on you to do, and this is saying you need to say no. So next week, if a situation presents itself where you already have a lot of things on your plate, and someone comes to you and says, okay, can you do this too, or can you meet me here, you do that, you need to say no next week. That's basically to sum it up. You need to say no, because I'm getting that it's going to be on your mind already that you have a lot of stuff to do and you don't have much help. And then this is saying, on the flip side, this could also mean that Spirit is saying you need to think about asking someone for help. You need to start delegating. Those are thoughts that need to start coming to you. Because, at first we have a thought, and then we go, if we indulge it, then we act on it. But this is saying definitely what you need to do. This is your thoughts. But what you need to do, the action next week, is to, what I'm getting to say no to people who are going to try to demand more of your time, demand you to do certain things. You already got enough on your plate, what it seems like. This also says you need to stand up for your beliefs and decisions. So any decisions you make next week, you need to stand your ground, say, I made that decision, and if you don't like it, so what? But I'm just getting a big no. If there's something someone asks you to do and you simply can't because you got a lot of stuff on your plate, say no next week. In the position of the challenge, the moon, it's the moon, deception. I'm getting that the challenge for you next week is going to be to see things for as it is. So to look past the surface, it's basically saying that things are not what they seem to be. It's some things going on behind the surface. So it could be like someone's wearing a mask. They have this mask on that's smiling, but when they take the mask off, they're frowning. So it may be the situation, it's something, and I don't know how much related this is to these two cards, but I'm just getting that next week something may seem one way, but it's not what it seems to be. It could be, and you're going to have, basically this is saying it's going to be a challenge for you to see things as they are. Okay, see things for what they are, the situation. Okay? It could be that, I'm going to throw out an example here. It could be that the situation you're in, you feel you can do everything on your own. You feel like, oh, I got this, and I can get all this done. And this is saying, no, no, you can't. Not that you can't, but that you really do need to ask for help, and you need to stand your ground. And like you might think from your perspective, I can do all this from your perspective. You see what I'm saying? This is the illusion card. This deception from your perspective. Maybe you feel you can do all this on your own and you don't need any help. And so deception could be you feel you can do everything on your own, but in reality is no, you need help. That could be the deception. Or this deception could be something totally not related to all your responsibilities. This could be something dealing with a person, but this is saying the challenge is going to be to see the situation for what it is, or for a person for who they is. Either one. Okay, pile number 6. So if you enjoyed this reading, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video, and I will see you next time.